What's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport from ChasingStrength.com. In today's video, we are going to discuss how Rob is literally twice as strong at age 70 than he was at 52. Here's how. Let's dive in. Now, look, before we get started, I think we can both agree that the human body is an exceptionally designed machine. I mean, nothing man has created to date can compare to this body of ours, right? Yet so many men, especially those of us over 50, throw in the towel, right? Like if you're 50, man, you may as well just bury yourself early, right? So many guys have that mindset. Okay. They think it's over and they can't get strong, lean, or muscular, and that it's all downhill after 50. In fact, sometimes it's after 40. Although I'm happy to report from my vantage point, this trend seems to be dissipating. Okay. That's why I really appreciate an email that I got the other day from Rob and why I wanted to publicly celebrate his wins. Yeah, congrats, Rob, if you're watching this. All right, we'll flash this email up here on the screen and we'll go through it together because it's super important, right, that you see this as not hype or clickbait or anything like this. In this email, Rob states that he's literally twice as strong at age 70 than he was at 52. So look at this, right? We'll go through it. He says, since purchasing the Giant about a year or so ago, I've run the various phases at least one or two times. I've fallen victim to shiny object syndrome on occasion, usually with one of your newer programs, so I haven't been terribly consistent in any one training program. But I have been consistent in one exercise, the double bell clean and press. It dawned on me last week, back in the days of after Enter the Kettlebell was published, which is 2006, I completed the rite of passage clean and press ladders of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5 left and 5 right with a single 24 kilo kettlebell. That took me about 30 minutes to complete. I would have been about 52 years old then. Today, at age 70, I find myself rocking double 24s now for the same volume in the same amount of time as I did back in my early 50s. All right. I feel I am stronger now in the clean and press than I was at 18 years ago. I've achieved the same results that others have reported: increased strength, more muscles in the shoulders, back, and arms. I've whittled away some body fat. But being this strong at this age is absolutely awesome to me. Again, congrats, Rob, if you're watching this, right? Let's just review these points again because they are worth reviewing, especially if you're over 50 and you're thinking it's all over and you can't get back what you've lost, okay? 18 years ago, Rob was doing single kettlebell clean and presses with a 24 kilo. Now he's using a pair of 24 kilos. So that's 48 kilo for his clean and presses for nearly the same total workload, 75 reps in 30 minutes. Okay, that's twice as strong. That's double the workload. All right. Now, obviously, you can see he's been using the Giant on and off. Now, what makes the Giant so great at recomping, right? As Rob said, okay, he's bigger across the shoulders and the arms, and he's whittling away body fat in the waist. Recomposition, right? If you don't know, if you're not familiar with that term, is building muscle, getting stronger, getting better condition, and burning body fat all at the same time, or in the same time period, right? Same time frame. Okay. So here is what makes the Giant so special and what makes it work. Okay. Number one is the concept of auto-regulation. Simply stated, auto-regulation is a performance method that flexes or adapts to the individual using it. You're not limited by rest periods, and you use intra-workout and intra-set performance measurements and guidelines to determine when it's time for you to perform your next set. Okay. So as a result, number one, you don't overstress your nervous system, causing your body to release too many stress hormones, right? Which, in case you don't know it, that can promote fat storage and cannibalize your muscle tissue, especially if you're already experiencing a lot of stress, and those stress hormones, particularly cortisol, are already high. Okay. Number two, autoregulation means you won't compromise your technique because you're racing the clock and opening the door to injury. And most importantly, autoregulation, I guess we could call this point number three, right? You will recover faster than if you didn't use it, because when you follow the pre-existing guidelines for autoregulation, you'll always be able to produce maximum force and minimize or mitigate your fatigue. Okay. Point number two, what makes the Giant work so well for so many guys, is called load variability. Now, around 1996, golly, man, that's hard to believe. Seems like just yesterday, my weightlifting coach and mentor, Alfonso Duran, who was on the Cuban weightlifting team back in the 70s and trained by the Soviet weightlifting super coach and world championship, Alexei Medvedev. Well, Alfonso showed me his favorite loading parameters, right? So think sets, reps, rest, those types of things, okay? And they were from Professor Arkady Vorobyev's work. Okay. Now, why is that important? I mean, what's some professor know about it? Well, Professor Vorobiev was a two-time Olympic champ and a five-time world champ himself. So he knew a thing or two about, slinging heavy iron over his head. Okay, now, in the 70s, Professor Vorobiev and his colleague Ermakov found that sharp, nearly random contrasting loads provided a 61% greater increase in strength than traditional progressive overload that's typically used here in the West. Okay, in case you don't know what progressive overload is, it's add a little bit more weight to the bar each training session or add one more rep, okay, to your set each training session. Okay. Now, the Giant uses load variability. You'll see the same patterns in a 4-week cycle, but thanks to life stressors, jobs, kids, spouse, lack of sleep, illness, etc., you will most likely find some unpredictability in your performance from week to week. So as a result, some sessions will be harder and some will be easier. And here's the third reason that the Giant is so good at recomping. Okay, it uses what's called the RM, or the repetition max. As a competitive lifter, I've always trained for RM, right? In Olympic lifting, in powerlifting, you train for a 1 repetition maximum. RM equals repetition maximum, right? And that is the greatest or most amount of weight you can lift one time. But let's face it, a 1 RM really isn't conducive for most guys. It takes too much psych, too much arousal to perform, and it leaves you tired for days afterwards. Plus, for a lot of guys, it's really easy to get injured performing a strict, true 1 RM. That's why I've been using primarily the 4 RM, or the 4 rep max, the 5 rep max, and the 10 rep max, and a couple others since my early days as a strength coach at Rutgers University. Now, why have I done this? Well, quite simply, these different RMs are, number one, easy to perform because they don't require any psyching up like a 1 RM. Number two, they're easier on your central nervous system, so you're not tired for days afterwards. And number three, it's harder to get injured using them, right? Because you don't have that arousal and you don't have like the do or die approach to getting a new 1 RM. Okay, and I guess my favorite reason would be I can roughly correlate these RMs to percentages of a 1 RM and then use them to train for specific outcomes. So the Giant uses a 5 RM to build your maximum strength and a 10 RM to build muscle and strength. Now, thanks to the RM plus load variability plus autoregulation, the Giant delivers pretty spectacular recomposition for men of all ages, even 70-year-olds like Rob. So look, if you want to build muscle, get stronger, improve your conditioning levels, and burn off a little bit of that chubba lubba around your middle, the Giant will get it done for you, especially if you use a pair of kettlebells like Rob has. If you're interested in recomping, I'll leave a link to the Giant in the description below this video. If you found this video helpful, click the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it with a friend, and leave me a comment in the comment section below. All right, until next time, my friend, stay strong.